Boatworks Today is a viewer-supported show. To learn more on how you can get involved and watch extended ad-free versions of these videos, please visit our website, boatworkstoday.com, and click on the top of the heading where it says Support This Show. Thank you.
So welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Andy with Boatworks Today, and this week I'm really hoping to be able to get the support knees cut out using the kusa paneling. Now, if you remember from the last video, I did all my templating for this on the port side, right? And I just kind of figured, well, if it fits on the port side, it'll fit on the starboard side. And I did double check that. I took one of the knees over to the starboard side, and it fit. So I thought, all right, cool, we should be all set and ready to go. So this morning, I'm getting ready to, as you can see, I've got the templates laid out on the kusa here. I thought, well, I should double check everything just to make sure, check every single station. Well, you would think that both sides of the boat would be symmetrical. Nope. And actually the two sides are off by a fair amount. Now, the silver lining here is that because I did the templating on the port side, luckily that ended up giving me templates that were actually larger than what I need for the starboard side. So once I get these, the port side cut out on the kusa, then I'll be able to take those same templates and just hopefully shave them and trim them down a little bit and make them fit on the starboard side. Then I got to transfer that back over to the kusa and get all those cut out. So now, as you can see here, I've gotten all 6 of the templates laid out on the kusa here, and I'm trying to, I guess, be as efficient as I can with how much space or how much waste I actually get. Now, going into this, I was originally planning on basically cutting out, say, two of these out of the kusa, laminating them together, and then glassing over that. So that would give me, basically each knee would be a little over an inch thick. However, now that I've got it laid out here, if I cut this out, that's just going to give me one knee. So if I wanted to double everything up, I would have to do this twice, and then again do that same process twice for the starboard side. But if I do that, I'm going to end up burning up this entire sheet just for the knees. And I don't know. I'm not quite sure that it's worth slicing up a $300 board just for knees. I mean, something that you're never going to see. So, trying to find I guess, a more cost-effective way of trying to find some middle grounds here. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up cutting out a single piece of the kusa for each knee, and then I'll build that up on the sides with some additional glass. Now, the glass in the resin or the epoxy is going to be a lot less expensive than it is going to be, going through a full sheet of this. And then that way, when this is all said and done, I'll still have basically a half of a sheet full length to be able to, that I can take and incorporate that into the building out the cockpit area around the helm. So I think that's the direction I'm going to be going. But I guess, so first things first, just to get started, since I already have this laid out, I want to get these ones cut out, and then I got to take these templates back up and get them trimmed down and shaved for the starboard side. So off camera, I went through and I modified the templates that we made for the port side so that they actually fit the starboard side. Transferred those templates over to the kusa, and I have all the kusa pieces cut out. Now for glassing these, I'm going to be using the Totalboat laminating poly resin and chop strand matting. Now I'm trying a little bit of a cheat here, trying to get all of these pieces glassed at the same time. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me. Now, I will say, if I had a heavy piece of plastic that I could lay down, on top of this board and then lay these pieces of kusa on top of that, that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, I don't. So what I'm a little bit concerned with is that as I'm wetting out the glass on the surface of this, some of the resin may actually kind of drip down to the side and kind of glue these to this wooden panel. Hopefully not, but it is a possibility. So I'm not going to be real heavy-handed with the resin. I'm going to make sure, obviously everything is wetted out properly, but I don't want to see any drips or runs because that would kind of ruin my day. So let me get all geared up and start mixing up some resin. So in total, I'm going to be looking to lay up basically 2 layers of chop strand on each side of these pieces of kusa. Now I'm going to be, because it's kind of warm in the shop right now, it's probably, well, I'm sure people are going to laugh at me, but it's warm for here. It's pushing around 80 degrees in the shop. So I'm going to be mixing up small batches of resin just because I don't want to start setting up before I can actually, get it all rolled out over these pieces. So I'm going to be doing 8-ounce mixes at a time, and again, because it is a little warm in here, I'm going to be catalyzing this around 1%, 1.5%. I've had people ask where I got these shears from. I can't quite make out the name on here, but I got them through Jamestown Distributors. If you just do a quick search on their website for electric scissors or electric shears, you should be able to pull them up without any issue. Oh, I hope this works. All right, so now with this first side basically coated with the 2 layers of chopped strand, I'm gonna let this sit and bake or start to cure for probably an hour or so, and then hopefully be able to take this whole thing as a sheet, flip it over, and then repeat this process on the other side. So now we wait. All right. Well, it's been about an hour, a little over an hour and a half, and it's not hard, but it's not sticky anymore either. So I think I'm gonna take my chances and try and flip this over. We'll see what happens. Now, well, so far this is going pretty well. Oh, hell yeah. Sweet. All right, now I gotta try and flip this because the glass I just laid up here, because it is still a little bit tender. I gotta try and find a way to flip this without peeling the glass off of the kusa. So let's see, what if I take it right here? Well, hell, that went a lot better than I thought. So, all right, so now, since the bottom of this has already been, it's sealed, it's already been glassed and loaded up with resin. So now I can be really heavy-handed on this, and I don't care if resin drips down or anything like this, because the sides, they're all gonna get sanded flush again anyways. So this should be a lot less stressful. So, all right, let me get everything kind of mixed up, and we'll get started. So good morning. It is the following day. Now, last night when I was trying to sleep, I had one thing kind of going through my mind over and over, and it kind of kept me up a little bit last night, which is, I hope I didn't laminate all this stuff to my workbench. Now, I haven't checked it yet. I just came in this first thing in the morning, and, this is something I want to find out. So let's just kind of pan down and see what happened. Please, 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 please. Oh, sweet. All right. I'm sleeping good tonight, I can tell you that. All right, so now I need to cut all these pieces apart. And I'm going to cut as much as I can, apart, just using a regular utility knife. But I know that there are going to be areas here where this just isn't going to cut it, so no pun intended. So then for those areas, then I'm going to be using an oscillating cutter. What I'm using is actually a fine multi-master, but again, there are a number of brands that make tools like this. It's just a vibrating cutter. So. So as you can see here, I got all the pieces roughly cut to shape. There's still, a fair amount of trimming that needs to be done. But for cleaning that up, I'm going to be using this oscillating spindle sander, or it can be a spindle sander, but it's basically an oscillating sander. Not a sponsored deal by any part, but this is something I picked up about 4 years ago, I guess. And it's pretty inexpensive. And I think when I bought it new, it was like $200. Which isn't cheap, but I mean, you can get machines like this that are, easily 4 figures. So I figured I'd take a shot on it for $200. Say, what the hell? If it dies within a year, so be it. But I've put this thing through hell and back, and it just keeps on running. You can do it either as, like an actual, like a flat face sander, or there's little spindles and stuff that you can put down here. But for cleaning this up, I'm basically looking to establish and maintain that long, straight edges, that are in through here. Now, this isn't long enough where it's not going to allow me to be able to do these little profiles in here. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. Now, as you know, this is something I talk about all the time. I hate having dust, specifically fiberglass dust, floating around inside the shop. So to try and minimize this, I've got in the back here, I've got it hooked up to my big dust collector back there. And then just as a belt and suspenders, I've also got the Festool vacuum sitting right here just to catch anything that comes off of here that this does not collect. So I'm still going to be wearing my mask, so hopefully this will keep everything down to a minimum. Now, one of the best $200 I've ever spent. So as you saw, this little sander here, it makes pretty quick work of that glass. Now you noticed I was wearing gloves. I don't usually do that, but when you're sanding this stuff, I'm using 40 grit paper on here. But when you're sanding these, the dust from here, the fiberglass dust, it is so fine. It gets in every single pore of your hand, and that's just not a good day, all right? So if you're going to be doing this, these are a good idea. Now, I'm going to have to do some little bit of hand sanding to come in and kind of clean up this inside edges just because the sander can't get in there. But for the most part, it cleaned it up very, very nicely and pretty quickly. I'm probably less than 2 minutes per what are these called? Knees, per part. So pretty cool. I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than trying to do this by hand, I can tell you that. So I've still got 9 of them to do, and honestly, if you see me do 1 or 2, you see me do all of them. So I'm gonna take care of that stuff off camera, and I think this is gonna be a good point to wrap up this video. Now, Before doing so, there's a couple of things that I kind of want to elaborate on just very briefly here. Now, kusa paneling, it can be used with any kind of resin. It can be used with polyester, vinyl ester, or epoxy. Now, as you're going to be seeing in the next few videos, you're going to see me using different resins in different areas. Now, specifically, areas that are going to be painted are going to be areas where I'm going to be using epoxy and 1708. Just for the main simple reason that epoxy, as it's going through its post-cure, which can take 2-3 weeks depending on what kind of temperatures you're in, but as it's going through its post-cure, it shrinks less. So by that time, presumably your fairing would have already been done and the final shaping finished. So after you've gone through and done all of that work, you want that substrate to change as little as possible. So like I said, for the areas around on the bulkheads and the cockpit areas that are going to be highly visible, I'm using epoxy just to try and save me a little bit more work in the back end. Now, in this video, you saw me using polyester in chop strand for the knees. Now, the reason for that is, well, honestly, these knees aren't going to be visible and they're not going to be painted. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to use a more expensive resin and glass for areas that are just going to be buried and never seen. Being that this was built with kusa, I don't have to worry about moisture absorption or anything like that. With or without glass, it's not gonna absorb any moisture. Basically, the reason I'm putting glass on here right now is to add a little bit of extra thickness, but also to give the screws that are going to be holding those side panels on just a little bit something more to kind of bite onto and hold the panel in place. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're not always subscribed, hit that subscribe button along with that little notification bell thing. Evidently, that does make a difference. So if you have any questions, comments, please leave those down below and I'll do my best to get back with you. And as always, thank you for your time and thanks for watching.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.